Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I am back after a few weeks off, and I'm so excited to be with you once again and sharing these insights with you. I'm excited to share September's forecast with you. The theme for September, we're going to get straight into it, no messing around. The theme for September is self-mastery. So this is something that has been coming up over the last week or two, and I have been tuning into the energy and receiving these like information downloads where the message I've been getting is that the energy is what you make it. So I know I always talk about the planets and what's going on with the full moon and the new moon and planetary alignments. And while all of that is relevant, even though we are traversing through these planetary alignments and cycles, or these energy bubbles, so to speak, what's coming up is that we always have the power to choose. We always have a choice as to what energy we tune into and the vibrational frequency that we hold. And in truth, all vibrational frequencies are available to us all the time. Even if we're going through Mercury retrograde, even if we're going through some huge shifts, even if the planetary, the collective energy is, in fear, particularly going through the COVID pandemic. So we do have a choice. We can choose to be in self-sovereignty. So this is all about being the masters of our energy, self-mastery, and the power to choose. So even though there's chaos abounding all around you, you can be in your center, your power, your self-mastery, and you can hold your frequency. So we can choose to let the energy drag us down, we can go with it, and we can feel like victims, or we can work with the energy to rise up higher. So I'll explain more about this in a minute, but hopefully that makes sense. So we do have a choice. We don't have to let the collective energy, or even it doesn't have to be on a planetary level. It can be your family energy, it can be the energy in your workplace, and even if you're working remotely or working from home, you're still tuning into that energy. Every time you have a phone call from work, every time you check your emails, you tune into those people's energy. Every time you have a message, something coming up about work in your head, you're tuning into that energy. So when you think about a person, when you think about an event, be it past, present, or future, whether that person is currently in your life, maybe it's somebody you work with, or it could be somebody from the past. When you think about that person, you bring up their energy, or if it's an event, you bring up the energy of that event every time you think about it. Now, the reason we know this is true is that when you think about sucking on a lemon and you really take a moment to experience what the lemon tastes like, we all know that you start to salivate. So your body has a physical reaction just by thinking about sucking on a lemon. So we know that your body doesn't distinguish between the real event, the actual physicality of doing it, and your thought of doing it. So this is really important. This is something that we all know. We've all heard of this. If you think about sucking on a lemon, that you salivate, yeah, it's great. It's like a little thing that we all know about, but we don't really pay attention to what it actually means. But when you think about it, if you think about a past traumatic event, and it doesn't even have to be a traumatic event, it could be something that wasn't even that traumatic, it could be something that just irritated you a little bit, your body releases stress hormones and you begin to feel the same emotions that you felt during that event. So again, your body doesn't know whether this is physically happening right now, just with the lemon. It thinks that it's physically happening because it reacts in the same way as if it's physically happening right now. So this And this is something we're probably everybody is aware of on some level, but we don't pay attention to it. And what's been coming up is that it's not just a concept. We need to pay attention to this. It's not just a physical reaction in your body. There's more to it. It's like when you direct your consciousness to another person, an event, you're literally jumping timelines. So I know this sounds a little bit out there, but bear with me. So you're jumping timelines, you're jumping frequencies, and you're jumping dimensions. So it's like your consciousness is going to that moment, that person. You are becoming unstuck is the word coming up. I don't know why, but it's like you're becoming unstuck. You're not fully grounded in the present anymore because your consciousness is off, jumping through times and dimensions and frequencies. But you feel the physical reaction in your body now. So it's important now more than ever to direct your thoughts and focus only what is wanted in your life. And you might say to me, well, I have to think about this situation because maybe it's something that's coming up in court that happened long ago, but you have to think about it. Or maybe you have to go to the doctor, so you have to explain something that's going on. So if it's something that you have to refer to, only do it when you absolutely have to, and then make sure that you're directing your thoughts to something more positive after you've dealt with that thing. Because majority of the time, we only have to deal with a certain event or some things for a short amount of time. Maybe you have to meet up with an ex and it's 30 minutes that you have to meet with them, but you've spent the last week or longer worrying about that event. So you've brought that energy into the whole week, and you've now spent that whole week being in that lower frequency energy rather than just being in that for 30 minutes. Now, I know you said, oh, well, that's easier said than done. And yes, I agree, it is easier said than done. But this is where we're going. This is where we're training ourselves, just like going to the gym. It's easier to sit at home and watch TV and eat chocolate than go to the gym. But we go to the gym because we know it's good for us. We know that we'll be healthier and fitter and stronger. And it's the same with our thoughts. We have to train our thoughts. We can't be in that lackadaisical sense of, I'm just going to let my thoughts wander everywhere they want to go, and I'm not going to reel them in because it just takes too much effort and it's easier just to allow my mind to wander. We can't be in that frame of mind anymore. We have to start paying attention because we are literally jumping frequencies every time our minds wander, and particularly when they wander to unwanted circumstances or events or people who we are thinking about who are causing us aggravation or something else. So we're being called to be supremely aligned, and it's not going to happen overnight. This is a practice, just like the gym. You don't run on a treadmill or jog outside for one day and then expect to run a marathon the next day. So your thoughts will wander, and that's okay. It's bringing them back into line every time you find yourself wandering in your thoughts. And it's also not just your thoughts. You have to be supremely aligned in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. So if you are aligned in thoughts, words, and actions, then that is self-mastery. But if you're finding that you are saying things about other people, things that aren't nice or things that are degrading or something that you shouldn't be saying, then you have to stop yourself. You have to call an end to it. You have to say, no more, I'm not going to do that anymore. And if you like to do certain things, if there's, like, as I said, sitting on the couch eating chocolate, and you know that you should be going for a jog or a walk even, then you have to follow through. You have to be in alignment. Now, the danger here is that when you're sitting on the couch eating chocolate and you're thinking, oh, I should be out walking, you start to feel guilty. So the energy of guilt is totally out of alignment. So what I would recommend is, if you're going to sit on the couch eating chocolate, that you enjoy it to its full. Be in the energy of joy while you are doing that thing. If you start judging yourself, if you start feeling guilty, if you start saying, oh, I should be running, but I'm sitting here eating chocolate, then that is being out of alignment. That's not being supremely aligned. So if you're going to do that, if you're making the choice to sit and eat chocolate or whatever it is that you indulge in, enjoy it to its full. Be in that energy of joy and bliss, because then that's being supremely aligned. And even though you know you maybe should be out doing some exercise, you are actually more in alignment if you're in that state of bliss. Now, it's not to say just to sit around eating chocolate all day. I'm not condoning that. But what I am saying is, if you're going to eat that chocolate or eat that cookie or whatever it is, to enjoy it, be in a state of enjoyment and fully commit to enjoying it to its full. So what happens when you begin to change your thoughts and start focusing on what is wanted? Well, when you think about it, when you're focusing on stressful things and they bring up those stress hormones and you jump frequencies and timelines, if you start to focus your thoughts on the angels, on source, on the universe, on unconditional love, say you just think about unconditional love and you sit for a moment and you think about it. What does it mean? What is unconditional love? How does it feel? Start asking yourself these questions. Then where does your energy go? Well, again, you start to jump frequencies, you start to jump timelines, but you do it in the other direction. You jump through dimensions into higher frequencies of light. So if you start working with the angels every day, then you start to raise your vibration. You start to jump through dimensions, through frequencies to higher frequencies of light. And the more you do that, the more you direct your thoughts towards love, towards the angels, towards the supreme beingness of source. That's when you start to feel good about yourself. You start to feel that energy of alignment. And this is what we do in my members group, the Fiercely Spiritual Family. When we connect with the angels, when we go through these guided meditations and visualizations and alignments and attunements, we jump through, we're literally jumping through timelines and frequencies and harmonizing with these higher frequencies of light and energy. And it's funny because I didn't even realize this is what we were doing for a long time. I knew that we were connecting with the angels on an energetic level, but I didn't realize that we were actually jumping through these dimensions and frequencies. I knew we were raising our energy, but the realization only hit me a while ago that we're actually doing something so much more than that. And it's something so powerful. And it's something that when we connect with that energy, and this is why a lot of people are saying, like, there's like something about the live meditations where it's just really powerful. I don't know what it is, but it's just so powerful. And thinking about it now, I understand, okay, so this is what's happening. But it's like it's becoming more tangible. It's like that jumping of frequencies or jumping of timelines. It's like there's a physicality behind it. You can almost like feel the shift. And I think that's what's happening as the earth raises her dimensional frequency. She too is jumping. The image that I could see is like all these like globes of the earth, but there's like they're imprinted on top of each other. I can see like one here and one here and one here, and it's like they're imprinted, but they're rising up. It's like a stairway almost. And you can see these like different levels or different versions of earth that were like hopping onto those different levels, and they all exist physically, and we don't even realize that we're jumping from one to, it's like, to explain it, literally that stairs is a good example. If I was to say to you, okay, you're on the second step of the stairs, can you jump up to the third or the fourth step? You can like jump up to the next step and the next step, and then suddenly you're on a higher step. And it doesn't mean that the step below has collapsed and crumbled into nothingness. It's still there. You've just stepped up a few steps. So it's like that with the earth. All these versions of the earth, they're still there, and we're all existing on all of these versions, but we're choosing to jump up through the versions to higher levels of the earth in these realms, so to speak. So I know it's a little bit of a mind bend, but bear with me. So what I am advising you to do is to start monitoring your thoughts. So begin by realizing how much your thoughts are swaying in directions that are unwanted, swaying towards, that person in the coffee shop who went in front of you in the queue when you were queuing and they didn't see you, or whatever it is that you are getting frustrated by. And realize how much you direct your thoughts to these unwanted events during the day. And what you can do is you can set an alarm on your phone and set it to go off each hour. And when it goes off, take a note of what you're thinking about. You can write it down on your phone. You can literally just jot down thinking about the person who cut me off in traffic, or whatever it is. Or you could be thinking about my children and how proud I am of them, or whatever you're thinking about. And then at the end of the day, just go through each hour and have a look at what you were thinking about and see where the majority of your thoughts are spent. Are you thinking the majority of time about grievances, about judging, about fearful situations, or are the majority of your thoughts in a space of happiness, joy, love? And again, no judgment, because judgment is a lower vibe energy, just accepting where you're at. And you can do this exercise, if you like, you can do it once a week, and just seeing how you're progressing as you're becoming more aware of your thoughts. And of course, as you all know, I condone meditating, because the best way to start becoming aware of what's going on and to start exercising that focus. But this is a really good thing to do as well as meditating, to start becoming super aware of where your thoughts are at. So I'm going to leave it at that. And in the spirit of self-mastery for this month, I'm not going to share any cards or any reading for the month ahead. I want you to be in a state of self-mastery and choose your energy and choose what you're going to experience this month, and to make the energy your own through directing your thoughts, your words, and your actions. And I want to wish you all a wonderful month ahead. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all of you so much. And I will see you for the next episode. Bye-bye.